Hello everyone, my name is Zero and you're watching The Lost Perspective. If you enjoyed today's video, please consider leaving a like as it does help out a lot, and if you want to see more Helldivers 2 as well as other gaming content, go ahead and subscribe. With the YouTuber stuff out of the way, let's get it. Today's topic is of course the Democracy Space Station. So what is the DSS? It's an icon on the map. So you can physically see it hovering around whatever planet it happens to be by at the time. On this screen we get to see kind of a see-through version of it. Now this is the Democracy Space Station after all, so of course voting is involved. We are given a list of 7 new locations we could send this thing to, or we can vote to keep it in its current spot. Now of course the top spot tends to be wherever the major order is sending us. When there is not a major order, the first 3 locations on the list generally correspond with our 3 invading factions. Since our current location is a bug, the next world would naturally be an Illuminate one. Well, it was under attack by Illuminate, but as you can see, it's already been liberated. Way to go, Helldivers. And the third option is a bot planet. Pretty much everything beyond this tends to be arbitrary, and some of them make me wonder why the hell we would even send them there. At least these planets near the Mantle Forge and Factory Hub kind of make sense, as we should probably secure the surrounding areas. So other than that, we get to see the percentages of votes cast for each location, as well as when the station will move next. So on to the next tab, the Donations tab, which is for some reason called Actions, when all we really get to do here is donate stuff. So, what do we donate? Do we donate our super credits? I mean, in universe, sure, that would make perfect sense. But obviously, from an IRL standpoint, that would be absolutely insane, and there's no way that would ever happen. I mean, there would be so much backlash, the game would be dead overnight. So, Arrowhead, if you're listening, please never do that. What we do donate is with what little we have, that being requisitions, common samples, and rare samples. Strangely, there is no option for super samples. As a veteran with over 300 hours in this game, I only have 1 upgrade to my ship left to do, and I have more than enough super samples to do it. So you need to give me something else to do with these, and I'm sure the amount of other players in the same boat is getting larger every day. So here we have the option of donating to the Orbital Blockade, the Eagle Storm, or the Heavy Ordnance Distribution. The Orbital Blockade requires donations of requisitions, so it's the easiest to get your hands on. The DSS activates its zero-G anti-ship missile systems, targeting all enemy spacecraft attempting to exit the planet's atmosphere. In addition, diverts access manpower to Super Destroyer logistics support. Well, that's a mouthful, but what does it actually do? Defense campaigns cannot originate from this planet, which is a fancy way of saying the planet cannot be attacked. I really don't know why it doesn't just say planet cannot be attacked. Additionally, it gives the Hellpod space optimization booster for all Helldiver operations. So while it's active, you'll always spawn with max ammo, which is nice and all, but the truth is the planet cannot be attacked part is potentially way more powerful, but is incapable of being utilized properly, because as soon as the donations max out, guess what happens? It just activates. So utilizing it for the purpose of preventing enemies from attacking during, say, like the last day of a major order is almost impossible. And I'd say now is a good time to mention the generosity limit. No, I'm not kidding. They cap how much you're allowed to donate by saying you've reached your approved generosity limit. Please wait X amount of time before donating again, which is just ridiculous because, again, veteran players like me don't have anything else to do with all this crap. The Heavy Ordnance Distribution DSS Logistics Armada supplies all super destroyers orbiting the planet with surplus 380mm shells. Support is also provided to SEAF operations, accelerating liberation efforts. So in layman's terms, it gives everybody the 380 barrage, similar to how it works when they do weapon experimentation, which, I'll be honest, is pretty lame because the 380mm is kind of overrated. It covers a really large area with really big booms, which is far less practical than you'd think, as it's really inaccurate, and we have such great alternatives. Did you know the Orbital Precision Strike is the same thing as it is just a singular 380? On top of that, if you have the ultimatum from the Servants of Freedom War bond, this thing is effectively a handheld 380 because the blast from the warhead it shoots is also identical in damage, penetration, and blast radius. At least according to this guy. I'm not 100% sure if it's true, but if it is, that sure would explain a lot. The video provided for the 380 has always irritated me. You're telling me bro is all the way up on this rock and manages to land that stratagem right in the perfect spot in that base? That would never happen during regular gameplay. I don't even think it could be thrown that far. So I ask anybody who regularly uses armor with the servo-assisted passive, which increases throwing range, do you think that throw is doable? And by the way, how the hell did this guy even get up on this giant cliff to overlook the base like that? This really does provide more questions than it does answers. If you need to deal with anything that big, just bring the 500 kg Eagle. It is so much more practical, but I digress. The ordnance distribution also accelerates progress in liberation campaigns. By how much, you ask? I have no idea, the game doesn't specify. If you know, please comment below. The Eagle Storm. Now we're talking. The DSS crews maintain deployment of a 24-hour rotating fleet of Eagle fighters supporting all Helldiver operations on the planet and halting the enemy offensive for a short time. So the orbital blockade will prevent attacks from happening, but if one's already started, this is the one you want, as it slows enemy progression in defense campaigns. But by how much, you ask? Again, I have no idea, as it doesn't say. And I wouldn't say I've seen it kill more friendlies than enemies, but the ratio of friendlies to enemies is a lot closer than I'd like it to be. Yeah, so turns out having random strafing runs all over a mission with maybe about a 2 or 3 second warning that that's about to start happening leads to a lot of friendly fire incidents. It would be nice if they at least focused mark targets, like what you can do with the mortar sentries if you have that one ship upgrade. But no, so whenever these guys just come in, make sure you're not in close proximity to any enemies in this game where the enemies are constantly charging you. Good luck. So the Eagle Storm is my favorite one, and I do think it's the most useful, even if it is a double-edged sword, and that's it. That's the only 3 things this really does. The part about this that annoys me the most is that the orbital blockade will last for 24 hours and then has a 24-hour cooldown, meaning you can't start donating to it again until the 3rd day, which means at best it's going to be active twice a week. And since it has virtually no effect on gameplay, you just start with max ammo, you may not even notice it's happening. The Ordnance Distribution and Eagle Storm both have a cooldown of 5 real-life days, meaning they could be active no more than once a week. So I hope you don't have to go to work or school that day, because if you do, I guess you're just out of luck. So you get to experience slight changes to gameplay for like 20 to 35 minutes a week, if you're lucky. And who knows, maybe the boys just felt like playing something else that night. And of course, I can't talk about the DSS without mentioning the retired action known as the Planetary Bombardment. The predecessor to the heavy ordnance distribution, the planetary bombardments would randomly fire 380mm barrages at your mission, and had an even worse cooldown of 7 days. So as I've already mentioned, 380s are a little bit overrated and not particularly practical when you get to decide where they go. Imagine what happens when they go off randomly. Now, to their credit, Arrowhead did grant everybody the shield generator stratagem to mitigate friendly fire incidents, but clearly that wasn't enough, as this was very quickly retired. The DSS is kind of disappointing as far as I'm concerned. When I first heard about this thing, I was hoping it was going to be like the Tower from Destiny, you know, a social hub where you get to organize clans, talk with other Helldivers, maybe have a physical superstore we could walk into, see all the armors on display, and sometimes weapons. Also, this game is sorely lacking a shooting range, so perhaps the DSS could have a virtual reality training environment. Because, I mean, we obviously can't be firing off real ordnance in space. That's the DSS. You take all the crap you don't need anymore, and you drop it off here. It helps out the community, and on occasion, you get something fun out of it. So basically, it's the Helldivers equivalent of Goodwill. And that is all for today. If you're still here, thank you so much for watching the entire video. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, and if you want to see more Helldivers 2 as well as other gaming content, go ahead and subscribe. You folks have yourselves a great day, and remember always, democracy protects.